Hola amigos! So recently I got my Mexican driver's license. In this video I'm going to go over some of the documents that you're going to need and the fact that you don't need anyone to assist you in the process. I think I made 3 trips there. The first trip was honestly to find out where the building was. The second trip was to find out exactly what documents were required because the line was long the first time I went. And then the third trip was actually on the same day that I made the second trip. And that's because I just had to go do stuff that I hadn't done before, like the blood test. So for start, obviously you need to make sure that you take your foreign driver's license, whether it be Canadian or US, make sure you have that with you. You will need, most importantly, proof of address. What did we use for proof of address? Well, the person that I'm renting from, we used the lease agreement. I also had a copy of that person's ID. So I took a copy of the lease agreement, took a copy of their ID, and I also took a copy of their CFE, which is their electric bill. And I took that all in to the DMV office. Just make sure that the address on the CFE bill matches the address on your lease agreement. You don't necessarily need a written note from the person, but you just need a copy of their ID to go along with all the documents. You will need, as I mentioned earlier, a blood test. There are many labs, especially where we are here in La Paz. So I was easily able to put into Google and find a lab to get it done. The process took maybe 5 minutes and it cost, if I remember correctly, 100 pesos. It was like $5 to get it done. It wasn't expensive at all. We have our temporary residency and that has our CURP on there. But if you don't, I assume you'd need a CURP. I don't know how you get it without that. So maybe this video is specifically for those who are resident or permanent or temporary. I don't know if they'll give it to you if you just have a regular visa. How much does it cost? It costs 1,186 pesos. So once you go, you take all the documents, you'll go into, I'm speaking specifically for the La Paz office. They will check over your documents to make sure everything is there, everything is correct. They'll take your blood test paperwork, they'll input that information first, and then they'll give you a ticket after they've verified all your paperwork and put you in queue. You'll go to the desk. Now, I'm practicing Spanish, but you can almost say I speak no Spanish, all right? Because there's no way I'd have been able to have a conversation with the teller had she not been able to speak some. Next, you go to the window. They'll ask you for your email address. They'll verify the address where you're living at. They'll verify your phone number if you want to be an organ donor. But those are some of the questions that they'll ask you. They'll have you sit in another chair, take your photo. Everything is done right there on the spot, to include paying the fee to get it done. You'll take your photo. They'll have you walk over to the register and make the payment. And then you'll come back, you'll sit down and you'll wait for the person who assisted you initially to call you back up to get your card. So why did I need to get a Mexican driver's license, and do you need it to drive here in Mexico? The answer is no, you don't need to have one. You can drive with your stateside license, and I think maybe the majority of expats have their regular license and they don't change over. So why did I want it? As I mentioned, I got pulled over about 2 weeks ago, and I do not drive the vehicle with my driver's license, the physical license. I used a copy of it. And as much as the police officer took it and it was not a big issue, he insisted that he wanted it. But in the end, he ended up taking the actual copy of my license. Because of that, I felt, you know what, let me just go ahead and get one here. That way I can keep this in there in my wallet and it won't be such a big issue. And the next question most people might be asking is, well, are you gonna have to surrender your stateside driver's license? The answer is no. They'll use the stateside driver's license just to verify you have it. That way you don't have to take the test, because if you don't have it, then you're gonna have to do a driving test. But if you have it, then they'll just use that as the source document, and then they'll be able to just give you your driver's license. How long is a Mexican driver's license good for? It's good for 4 years. 4 years from the point that you get it. And then it's just another government document that you have in the event that you go somewhere that you can present that, so you don't have to drive around with your passport or anything else. If you have any questions or there's anything you'd like to know about being in this part of Mexico in Baja, or specifically in La Paz, drop us a comment down below, and one of us will be sure to respond to you. Hasta luego.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below.